Okay, now YouTube just went live, so we can kind of jump back in there. I can see you just fine. Okay, so we've got some people that can see fine. I would say if you can't see, maybe click out and click back in and see if it refreshes on your end. And then I've got YouTube up here live as well. So I'm going to kind of switch back and forth so everybody feels like I'm talking to them. And if you guys who are live on Facebook don't mind, I'm going to kind of go back a little bit for those people who've jumped off and are kind of jumping back in and need to get refreshed. So really quick, my name is Diane, and for the past 25 years, I have been helping women find nutrition programs and fitness plans to help them look and feel their best and live their most authentic life. For me personally, as I've aged and have hit the 50 plus bracket, that has been through intermittent fasting. Tonight we are discussing the 5 common things that happen when you kind of jump into intermittent fasting before really understanding what intermittent fasting can and will do for your body. And a lot of the women that reach out to me have been intermittent fasting for a day or two, and they are generally feeling one or more of these 5 very common things. And it's a scary feeling to go through if you don't understand what it is and you're not educated on what intermittent fasting does for your body in the long run. So remember, intermittent fasting should be one of those things that you really pick up as a lifestyle for you as an individual, developed for you, by you, so that you can live the lifestyle that you want to live with food and be healthy as you are aging. And so what I was just talking about was the first very common thing is that, and that is that very uncomfortable feeling of hunger. And that uncomfortable feeling like you are going to absolutely pass out or die or just not be able to get to your next place of where you need to go through your day if you don't get some food in you. And that's a very uncomfortable feeling, and a feeling that we are not trained to live with. It's a feeling that we are trained to feed. And that's part of the problem that we have at this point in our life, in our 40s and 50s and 60s, where we really become sick because of how we are eating and what we are eating. And it's not our fault. It is what we've been trained to do, eating that every 2 hours. As soon as your feet hit the floor, you got to throw some food in you. General breakfast food is full of carbohydrates. We've trained our body to, okay, perfect. Thank you, Pamela. She says it's working for her. We've trained our body to just be sugar burners. And so when you jump into intermittent fasting as an uneducated person about intermittent fasting and you just decide you're going to stop eating, what happens is your body revolts on you. And it sends you these signals like, no way. I'm not going to get through the day without you feeding me something. So it sends you these signals of, like these alert signals, like feed me, feed me, feed me. And that can come from weakness. It can come from feeling faint. It can come from a burning sensation in your stomach. It can come from a headache. Like you name it, there's multiple symptoms that can happen when you are hungry and when your body is begging for you to give it some more sugar to burn, because that's what it's used to burning. And so until you train your body to really tap into your fat stores to burn for energy, you are going to feel uncomfortable and you're not going to know what it is, because those are hormones that are completely out of balance. And until you learn how to balance those hormones out, there's 3 hunger hormones that we need to learn how to control and learn how to listen to, and then eventually learn how to manipulate to work on our behalf, you will be uncomfortable. And it's a scary feeling to feel faint when you're out because you're not eating. And so most people jump ship and they think that intermittent fasting isn't going to work for them. Once you get past those hunger hormones, once you learn what they are, can identify the signals that they're sending to you, and you can learn how to manipulate them to work on your behalf, then you pass that uncomfortable stage and you get into that fat adaptive stage, and you will have so much energy you won't know what to do with it. But you have to educate yourself on those hormones, and you have to educate yourself on how to manipulate them to work for you and not against you. So the number one thing that's very common and happens to people when they jump into intermittent fasting without really educating themselves on what happens is that uncontrollable urge and sensation of absolute hunger. The number 2 thing that happens to women, and it's very common, is sleeplessness. That whole state of insomnia, that if it isn't bad enough that we're perimenopausal or menopausal and we have insomnia, now we're intermittent fasting and it's back again, or it's even worse. Again, When you kind of go low on your carbohydrates, which happens naturally when you're intermittent fasting and you're not really sure how to break your fast properly, or you're not really sure how to put nutrients into your feasting window, you can become very low in your carbohydrates and your body's response is insomnia. There's very simple ways to fix insomnia, but for most women, they panic and they jump ship right before their body settles out or right before they know what to do to fix that insomnia. So that second very common thing that happens is insomnia. Very easy to fix, but if you're not aware of it and you're not educated on how to fix it, it could be that thing that will make you walk away from intermittent fasting because you think it's not working for you. The number 3 very common thing that happens and scares women is dry mouth. Again, that happens very naturally as we stop eating continuously through the day. Oftentimes, and this happened to me very innocently, I became very dehydrated because I was avoiding eating situations and I was sort of avoiding the kitchen, trying to get through my fasting window when I was learning about all those hunger hormones and learning about all the things that I had to get through to get to that fasted state and that real fat adaptation, which was a comfortable state. I had to get through the uncomfortable first. And so when I started to get that dry mouth, I kind of panicked because I didn't know what was wrong with me. But it was a very natural thing. And once you become educated on it, once you know that you really got to track that water intake and you've got to keep yourself hydrated and you learn the processes to get through that while you're in your fasted state, the dry mouth starts to settle itself down. And next thing you know, you're absolutely fine. But it could be that thing if you're not aware of it happening and you're not educated on the processes that your body goes through when you're starting to intermittent fast, it can be a scary thing and it can make you jump ship. So the number 3 thing is dry mouth. The number 4 thing is an upset digestive system. Again, we are completely changing how we are working with food. We have just gone long periods of time without putting any nutrients in us. If we're going to go into a very high fat type of meal plan and kind of go low on the carbohydrates, getting a lot of those fats into your body, if your body is not used to it, can cause an upset stomach. For some women, it can cause constipation, which again can be a very uncomfortable situation. You add in the fact that you might purposely be dehydrating yourself without really even knowing it because you're trying to avoid those food situations, could also lead to some constipation. So we get scared because something in our body changes that isn't comfortable, and then we jump ship right before our body starts to settle into fasting and can self-correct. On the other side of that, the digestive system, you can also get very loose stools because again, if you are putting in that high fat diet, your body is not responding to that, or maybe you're cutting out some fiber and your body's not responding to that. Again, your body can be upset and can just actually kind of have whatever you're eating go right through you. That could be a very scary feeling if you're not aware of the fact that your digestive tract has to completely change and readjust to what you're doing to it. Again, that could be that thing that you kind of say to yourself, this can't be for me, and you're going to jump right off track. The number 5, very common thing that happens when they first start fasting is by day 3, they quit. And to me, that is the saddest thing that can happen for women who have spent probably the last 5 or 6 years suffering and feeling horrible about their own body image or feeling horrible about their weight, or have been suffering very common but very fixable things like I was going through with pre-diabetes, with being insulin resistant, with that unwanted body fat, with fatigue and hormone imbalance. And if you can just get to day 4 or 5, everything is going to switch over for you and you can really start to feel the benefits of intermittent fasting. And then after that, all you do is work on perfecting it. These were all of the same exact things that I went through when I first started fasting, and I jumped in and out for a good year until I figured out a plan and really had those key points where I educated myself on what it took to stick with intermittent fasting until I got to the point where it would actually start working on my behalf. Once I got through that sticky week, once I got to that point of where of being fat adaptive, once I got to that point where I really started seeing the results, everything that I had been struggling with for the last 2 or 3 years started to reverse on me. My pre-diabetic state went away. I was able to drop body fat without even trying. I no longer have to work out for hours. I only work out when I absolutely feel like I need to work out. I no longer diet or count calories. I'm no longer fatigued. I have more energy than I know what to do with. And I'm not spending my entire day in the kitchen planning out meal after meal after meal every 2 hours out of the day. I eat twice a day, and I eat when I feel like I need to have food. And my life has been totally turned around. At the age of 50, I feel the best that I have felt in years. And my physique has been so easily kept in a place where I like to have it without having to feel like I'm either a slave to the gym or a slave to the kitchen. So if you're a woman who's suffering any one of those 5 very common things that I've talked about, or you've jumped shipped on intermittent fasting because you felt like those things were just unmanageable, I strongly encourage you to give it another try. The women in my intermittent fasting courses are seeing some very amazing results in a matter of just the first week, and everything after that for them is bonus. And the only thing that they're getting in my group that you might not be getting if you're trying to do it on your own is really just the education and experience of what I have learned over my couple of years of intermittent fasting, and how I openly share that with you, and then hold your hand through that first week to make sure that you get the attention that you need and get your questions answered so you can get through those first 5 days and really see the results that you deserve to see with intermittent fasting. So I'm going to go on the comments and see if there's anything that I can answer for anyone. And I'm going to start here on YouTube and see if I can see any comments here. I'm on day 8 and I'm loving it. There's no going back to my old lifestyle. Pamela, you are awesome. Thanks for doing this. Is dizziness part of the deal? Yes. So dizziness can be part of the deal. Again, it's just that thing where your body hasn't adapted to the lack of food yet. And what you can do is you can add some salt or magnesium to your water. What I personally do is drink a mineralized water that has the sodium, the potassium, the magnesium in it. Helps keep my minerals up and really has helped with like the dizziness thing. Caffeine, if you can handle coffee, coffee's a great thing too. Adding a little bit of coconut oil to your coffee will just add those fat calories into your day and kind of subside those hunger hormones until you get those balanced out. And if you haven't already done so, I strongly encourage you to jump into my May group. We'll go through all of that in there so that you can kind of get the education that you need and start getting those questions answered there as well. Okay, let me see if I can see any more comments here on YouTube. Let me see. Don't know what I'm doing wrong. Can't see the broadcast. Lonnie, I will, it'll be on a recording so you can catch it later if you still can't see. On day 3, and I love it. 45 years young. Awesome. And you will stay 45 years young with intermittent fasting. Good for you. I found the Mountain Valley water today. I love it. Awesome, Pamela. Yeah, Mountain Valley water's changed everything for me. All of those minerals in there do really kind of help you get through that kind of sticky week where your body's a little bit off. So I'm going to go over here to Facebook and see what we got here. Any kind of comments or questions. And YouTube, if you have any questions, go ahead and post them and I'll get back over there and see if I can answer any. Okay, looks like it was frozen in the beginning. Everybody else is back. Any questions you guys have? Anybody starting their first week of intermittent fasting that they have a question about? Anybody suffering? Any other must-have supplements? Faith, we'll talk about some must-have supplements in our May group. So if you're not already registered, I highly recommend you register. We will close the doors on May 5th. After that, you have to wait for our June group. That won't start till June 10th. So if you want to get in, definitely get in. I'm doing it for 3 months and I lost 8 pounds. Is it normal? I don't know what's normal for you. I didn't catch your name there. Houston hair braiding. Okay. I don't know what's normal for you. Everyone's body is different. I can tell you that the women in my group are losing weight a little bit faster. Sometimes that could be just a little tweak that you have to make. in your either how you're breaking your fast, or you might not truly be in a fasted state when you think you are. That's the stuff that we learn in my group. So Houston Hair Braiding, if you haven't registered for the group, I would strongly suggest you do. It's 30 days. You'll learn so much, and you'll really learn how to get that body of yours into that true fasted state when you're fasting. And that's one of those big differences. Most women think they're fasting and they're really just not eating, and there is a huge difference between those two. Since the virus a week ago Betty, we'll get you back on too. Woohoo. Yes, Pamela is in the May group. I'm 54 and I started 3 months ago. Lost 35 pounds. Okay, I lost that one. Lost 35 pounds. My whole family is doing it and it makes it easier. Yep, that's awesome. Can I take probiotics still while fasting? I take it at night. Yep. I've been IF for about a year with very slow progress. I just lost 8 pounds. Any advice? What went wrong? Nellie, I would suggest jumping in my May group. I can work with you one-on-one and kind of help you figure out what you're doing either in your fasting window or what you're doing in your feasting window. Probably a little tweak you need to make, and that weight will start to fall off. So if you haven't already done so, the link for my May group can be found in any one of my YouTube videos below. On Facebook, if you click my timeline banner, there's a link there. You can go ahead and click that, or you can just email me and I will get you the information so you can get in before we close out the group. But you guys, for everyone who is feeling like you are stuck, literally, it's a tweak. It's a very small tweak. I just have to talk to you and see what you're doing in your fasting window, figure out what you're doing in that feasting window. We'll make a couple experimental tweaks with you, give it a couple days, and then you'll start to really see that difference. Okay, any other comments? Definitely feel free to leave those either in the comments below on YouTube or below on Facebook. There's links everywhere on where to join the group. Just click on any video on my YouTube channel. You will see the link in there. Facebook, again, it's on my timeline, and I will post it in the comments below. No need to feel frustrated trying to intermittent fast. It is really only 4 more to go until I reach my goal. Awesome, Stephanie. I was feeling bloated and constipated normal. Yep, it is. Nancy, it is. Sometimes it is because your body just has to kind of cleanse through some stuff. So if you're feeling bloated and constipated, again, it's just that thing. Check what you're eating in your fasting window. Make sure you're getting some good mineralized water in you. It could be something going on in your gut biome. You might need to get a probiotic. I can't really figure anything out specifically for anyone until I can get on the phone with you and kind of figure out what you're doing and have you do some tweaks. So again, if you want some individualized group, the best place to get that is joining my May group. Everyone who joins my May group gets a free 30-minute one-on-one consultation call with me where we'll talk about what some of the issues are that you're having with where you are in your life right now. I'll offer some suggestions for you. I'll monitor what you're doing in your fasting window and your eating window, and we'll get you switched around very quickly and right back on track to getting to where you want to go with your intermittent fasting. It should really be once you get through that first week and you get through that learning phase, it should really be an easy transition, and you should be able to get yourself right back on track. Okay, Cordelia, do me a favor, send me an email address, or send me an email to Diane, it's DYANN, PARHAM fitness@gmail.com. Let me know you want in the group, and I will send you some information as soon as I get the email from you. So that's kind of the best way to go. And then I'll post links on both of these places down below in the comment section for you guys to find pretty easily as well. I have to jump off because I have calls scheduled tonight with my April group where I'll be doing their one-on-one consultations and helping them work through some stuff with their intermittent fasting. So thank you so much for joining me tonight, you guys. I appreciate you guys being here. I love the fact that we got to do, yes, you can, Pamela, and I'll put that in the group for you guys too. I appreciate you guys being here. I will be back on here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, YouTube and Facebook at the same time again. So definitely jump back in here with me tomorrow if you have some questions you want me to answer live. If you don't mind me getting back to you in the comment section, leave your questions in the comments in the sections below. I personally answer everyone who leaves a comment for me, so I will definitely reach out to you. And if you want me to get you information, leave me your email address and I will get you information that way as well. Have a super night, you guys, tonight. Thank you so much for joining me.